I said I'd be back. Sorry. I don't know why I still have that impression in my throat, but yeah. This is the review for the Terminator movie. One of the Terminator movies that nobody really seems to care about. So if you remember the ending of Terminator 2, John Connor, Sarah Connor, and the T-800 destroyed Cyberdyne. They melted the T-1000. They destroyed the ARM and the CPU of the first Terminator. And the T-800 even sacrifices himself in order to ensure that Judgment Day is done, terminated, unable to happen, so John Connor and Sarah Connor can live a life without fear. So what's the brilliant plot of Terminator 3? Because this is obviously the third movie, made 12 years after the second one. You gotta have something really brilliant in order to make a third movie. So, what's this movie about? Well, a Terminator is sent back in time. Two, in fact. One to assassinate John Connor, the other to protect him. And Judgment Day is postponed. It's going to happen, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Now, the plot is actually a little deeper than that, because Skynet, they send a more advanced Terminator, the TX, back in time to assassinate John Connor's lieutenants, including Catherine Brewster, who would end up being John's second-in-command, and his future wife. You're my future wife, huh? I couldn't resist. And if you're wondering why not John Connor himself, it's because they sent the TX back in a time where John Connor was off the grid and Skynet had no idea where he is. Then why would you send a Terminator back in time to where John Connor is off the grid? Why would a machine, this artificial intelligence that has created these killing machines and supposedly time travel, send a machine back in time to where your greatest enemy is off the grid? That makes no fucking sense. But Skynet's not the only side that's stupid. Oh no, the Resistance is just as dumb when they send in the T-800 also. The T-800 comes back in time. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's good to see him again. But rather than coming up with the suggestion of, you know, we could try to stop Judgment Day from happening, he goes back in time and says, no, Judgment Day is going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. My priority is to ensure the survival of you, John Connor, and Catherine Brewster, because Judgment Day is going to happen whether you like it or not. And the future John Connor... Okay, Catherine Brewster in the future is actually the one who sends the T-800 back in time. And you might be asking yourself, why would she even bother to send a Terminator back in time and just say, no, when you find my younger self and young John Connor, if you can, don't get any ideas that you can stop Judgment Day. There's no way you can, because it's just not going to work. Well, it worked before, so why... Can't... Thinking about the inconsistencies with this plot and the last movie just infuriate me to no end. It's just so frustrating. Now, in the past reviews, I've compared this franchise to the Alien franchise, and Terminator 3 is no exception. If you recall, back in Alien 3, the beginning of the movie killed the characters that were introduced in Aliens. Hicks, Newt, and the android Bishop, and there was another alien on board with no real explanation, just so a third movie could happen. The same thing here. They destroy everything that Terminator 2 worked up to, just so a third movie could happen, and you're just like, that makes no sense. That's really frustrating, and it's basically just one giant middle finger to fans of that movie. But and when I say that movie, I mean like both second movies in the Terminator and Alien franchise. Any other problems with the movie? Yeah. In terms of the characters, Claire Danes is alright. I mean, she's good in the movie, but Kate Brewster just really isn't that interesting of a character. Nick Stoll as John Connor I thought was terrible. Like, basically, the character of John Connor in this movie is basically a bum. He's homeless, wandering around the streets of LA, and he acts in a very timid, uh, Shia LaBeouf kind of mannerism. It's hard to explain, but it's something that leads me to believe that this John Connor could never be the future leader of the Resistance that fights the machines. I'm just like, no, I don't believe this guy is going to be the one to save humanity. No. The TX is not that great either. Now, remember the T-1000, very threatening. Didn't emote that much, but didn't have to because there was a presence that made you fear for the characters. There's just something wrong with the TX this time around where having a emotionless face makes you a bad actress rather than a really threatening menace. And I don't think I could really blame the actress Kristanna Loken because this movie's not really directed by James Cameron. It's directed by Jonathan Mostow, who you can really tell that he's no James Cameron because he doesn't really try to make the TX very threatening at all. And really, TX concept-wise doesn't seem like that much of an advancement from the T-1000. It's just a Terminator that has a hard exoskeleton like the T-800, but is covered in liquid metal, which doesn't really work out because with the T-1000, it was pure liquid metal, could blend into the ground, blend into the wall, all these really creative ways to get around and be menacing. For the TX, the exoskeleton just seems like a distraction. Like all it can do is copy other human beings, and it doesn't work. Now, is there anything I liked about this movie? Anything? As much as I complained about the plot and how it just shat on everything Terminator 2 worked for, there are things I do like about this. Arnold Schwarzenegger still is good, I think, as the T-800. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He embodies that character. There are comedic moments with him that work. I mean, there are stupid comedic moments like when he gets his clothes from a male stripper and he puts on the sunglasses that are stars, practically. And then there's the scene when the TX and T-800 are fighting in the bathroom and the TX grabs the T-800's nutsack. It's just really goofy moments like that. They're just like, yeah, whatever. But the comedic moments I'm talking about are when the Terminator usually states the obvious. Like when Kate Brewster is captured for her own safety, she tells the Terminator to drop dead, and the Terminator just responds by saying, "I'm unable to comply." There's also a line, there was another line that really worked out, I thought. There's also a really funny part when they first escape the TX, and John Connor asks the T-800, "Do you remember anything I taught you, or do you remember anything from our previous movie, Sarah Connor blowing up Cyberdyne, Hasta la Vista Baby?" And the T-800 just says that was a different one. So John Connor replies by saying, "What, do you guys come off on an assembly line or something?" Exactly. And it's just that really got a laugh out of me. So the comedic moments are a little better. I mean, they do result in a Schwarzenegger one-liner, but I think the comedic moments involving the T-800 are better than the really goofy moments like sunglasses and Terminator grabbing another Terminator's sack. And the action scenes are really good also. Like, they destroy everything in sight. It's all practical stunts and destruction. And it's definitely entertaining. I'll give it that. It may not be good at all, but at least you're entertained throughout the entire movie. And the animatronics still work. Stan Winston's back once again for the animatronics, and they work. The T1s are pretty cool, I think. And some of the animatronic work with the TX, as little as there is, works out pretty well. But during some of these action sequences, like particularly the scene when the T-800 and the TX are fighting in the bathroom, there are sound effects that are a little too cartoonish. Like whenever the T-800 is throwing toilets onto the TX, the sound effects are a little too comedic. I mean, I understand that the Terminator's throwing a toilet on another Terminator, so I don't know, it didn't come across as very good, I think. Even some other parts, like during the flashback sequences, when it shows an army of T-800 exoskeletons shooting, the sound effects don't carry that much weight as they did in the flashbacks from the first two movies. It's just really a generic pew pew, pew 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 pew, pew pew pew. And there's no impact. You don't feel that impact like you did when watching the future scenes in the Terminator, Terminator 2, or even Terminator 2 3D. I'll wrap things up right here. I actually remember liking this movie when I first saw it, but ever since, I really had no urge to go back and watch it until doing this review, and I hate this movie now. Okay, you know, hate's a strong word, because I think it's a really entertaining movie and there are some good moments. But the fact that it just pulls an Alien 3 and, again, shits on everything that the second Terminator movie worked towards, I can't say this is a really good movie at all. So I would say if you just want to see some really kick-ass action sequences and you want to be entertained throughout the whole movie, then watch the movie at your own risk. It's not on the whole good, but it's definitely entertaining. But if you're a huge fan of the two James Cameron movies like I am, and you consider Terminator 2 not only one of your favorite movies of all time, one of the best movies ever made, then you're going to be disappointed beyond belief with this movie. So don't waste your money on it. If there are any people out there who are new to Terminator or just watching the Terminator movies for the first time, stop at 2. There's no reason to go on watching the movies beyond 2, because this one is just, it's not good. It kind of upsets me, but so that's my review for Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought of the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Like, subscribe, share me with your friends, and this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.